Good day, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. In Chapter 3, there is 3 mini-stories that have a major impact with the Shadow Ronin world. Please comment on which one you would like to see in more depth. Chapter 3. The General's Gambit. The Foundation of a Traitor. 2 years before battle in the Alaskan wilderness, retired General Jason Mortimer sat in back of second SUV part of his security detail, taking him home. Weight of everything good and bad grew heavier with every passing year. At 5 feet 9 inches, he wasn't the most imposing man in the Pentagon, but his 40 years of service cast a deep shadow across the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the clandestine halls of the Secretary of Defense. Mortimer's rise hadn't been fueled by merit alone. It was fueled by a mistake. As a young lieutenant, an indiscretion with an enlisted soldier had opened the door to a lifetime of being a puppet. The Cabal, a shadow group from beyond our dimension, had made his problem disappear into the void. Since then, Mortimer had played their game, sending soldiers and innocent citizens into that same darkness to keep his career alive. The Cabal promised humanity everything: infinite energy, cures for all diseases, and godlike weapons. But they only gave us enough to make us addicts, slaves to a power we didn't understand. The cracks in the mask. The first crack in Mortimer's loyalty appeared in 1992. In the Arco Desert of Idaho, 6 young boys vanished in a single night. One boy, slower than the others but possessing a heart of fire, almost escaped. Mortimer still sees that boy's eyes in his dreams, eyes filled with a rage that bored right through his soul. The second crack was a betrayal. In 2005, an operation in Afghanistan turned into a slaughterhouse when the Cabal played both sides of the war. An attack on outpost that Mortimer was commanding officer nearly cost Mortimer his life but survived with only damaged leg. Only 16 of the 80 men survived the day. 12 became his elite security team. The other 4 went into deep cover, hidden even from the Cabal's eyes. They were saved not by the military, but by Athena, the director of a Cabal-owned energy corporation. When the news broke about the attack, Mortimer and surviving 12 became national heroes. Their face and story of survival was plastered all over the news and internet, thanks to clandestine plan organized by Athena. The Dragon's Warning. 2 years after the bloody and brutal fight in Afghanistan, Mortimer walked into Athena's office. "Congratulations on the promotion, General," she said, her voice smooth as silk. He expected a corporate briefing. Instead, he witnessed the impossible. As he watched, Athena's human form rippled and tore. She surged into a 9-foot-tall fire drake, her scales the color of red crimson, her golden eyes glowing with ancient power. Athena looked at him with predatory eyes and seductive smile. "Don't worry, my dear General," she hissed, her voice vibrating into his marrow. "I am on your side, and I am on Earth's side. But you must understand, we have to pray, truly pray, that the director doesn't ask the Emperor to send the elite ghost assassins after us. They are hundreds of years old, part machine, part myth. They don't just kill, they erase. So let's get a game plan to stay alive for a long time." The standoff at Cambridge. Back in the present, at his home in Maryland, the game reached its tipping point. Mortimer sat in his study, ignoring the director's encrypted threats. He looked out into the mist and saw 12 shadowy figures standing on his lawn. A low, rhythmic humming vibrated the window pane. The assassins, he thought, his heart hammering. Athena's warning has come true. He reached out and pressed the silent alarm on his desk. Suddenly, the darkness behind the shadows shifted. 12 of Mortimer's men emerged, clad in shimmering matte black void plate armor. At the front was Captain Johnson. The scarred tissue of his face was split by a glowing cybernetic eye, a violet aperture that pulsed as it locked onto the hunter's cloaking frequencies. Sergeant Miller stepping right up to the lead hunter, pressing a high-tech pistol against its temple. The hunter's cloak flickered, revealing the jagged alien chrome beneath. "You're on our turf now, dirtbag," Miller growled, his eyes glowing beneath his goggles, burning through the hunter's mask. "Give me a reason." "To blow your chrome dome head clean off." Watching through the glass, Mortimer picked up the phone. "You see, Director, these aren't your elites. They're just your bullies, and my ghosts are already behind yours." In a low but cold voice, the director left one final warning. "You win this time, General, but I will be watching and waiting for you." While the general and the director traded threats, a third pair of eyes watched the screen from enveloping shadows of an unassuming and practical hideout. The director of the Cabal believed he was alone. He believed his communications were secure. He was wrong. He was being hunted by a ghost of his own making, former assassin who had served Cabals as their primary enforcer for over 80 years. He had been the first assassin to cross over from the Void, along with Director. He was the one who cleared the path, removing gang leaders, mob bosses, and political rivals to help build the Cabal's empire on Earth. But to the Director, loyalty had an expiration date. Decades ago, the director decided this veteran killer was outdated compared to the new, sleek technology of the Wraith Hunters. He had ordered the man's termination while on a mission with the Wraith Hunters to remove a problem who didn't like taking orders from the director. The Wraith Hunters thought they had finished the job. They thought they had left him to rot. They were wrong. Now he sat in the dark, the only thing visible being the low, predatory glow of his orange eyes burning with a century of cold, concentrated hate. He didn't care about the general's politics or the fate of the planet. He only cared about the debt of blood he was owed. "All good things come to those who wait," he rasped at the monitor, his voice like grinding stones. "Wait for it." The Wraith Hunters might be the new favorites, but the old guard wasn't dead yet, and he knew exactly how to make them bleed. Veiled Allegiance. 9 months after Shadow Ronin's return, 5 women arrived separately at a secluded retreat on the northern edge of Lake Michigan. 15th acres of fenced land, no trespassing signs every 40 yards, 30 yards from the cold blue water. Isolated, quiet. For 4 days, this place was supposed to be a refuge. All 5 were disguised as human women, but none of them were human. Each held a high-ranking position within the Cabal. 2 were regional managers. Natalie, who had stepped into the power vacuum left by Athena's execution, and April, newly promoted and quietly positioned to take control of the Central American branch after its director's death. Officially, they were loyal servants of the director and the emperor. In truth, they were insurgents. A hidden cell working from inside the Cabal to loosen its grip on Earth. For 3 brutal months they had hunted the killer of the Central American director. None of them mourned the man. He had been a drug kingpin, a sadist, a void-tainted creature. But orders were orders. Still, his death had created opportunity. April's promotion was proof of that. What unsettled them more was the silence. All contact with the wider void had been gone for 10 Earth years, nearly 100 void years. That kind of silence was not natural. Whispers had reached them before coming to Earth. Stories never written down, names never repeated, entire command structures erased without explanation. Elite ghost assassins, no details, only outcomes. It was said they were designed so that no one was safe, not emperors, not gods. The Emperor himself, one of the most powerful beings the Void had ever known, had survived countless assassination attempts across centuries, strike teams, void plagues, reality fractures. He had been considered untouchable, until he was not. That rumor alone had sent shock waves through the void, but no one spoke openly. Some things were kept wrapped in silence for a reason. This retreat was meant to be a pause, a breath. It did not last. Natalie is their leader. In her true form, she stood over 8 feet, broad shoulders, powerful arms and legs, grayish skin, black hair, eyes glowing red, beautiful and terrifying. A war goddess. In human form, she was still impossible to miss at 6'7" with black and tan skin. Felicia was second. In alien form, pale white skin, silver hair, amber eyes, vampire-like lethal, fast, head of security. As a human, she passed as a 6-foot blonde woman with light skin and brown eyes, though she still moved like a predator. Jen was third, a humanoid werewolf with brown and black fur, 6'8" in her true form, 6'3" as human blonde hair and brown eyes. Sharp humor, sharper instincts. Oris was fourth, 7 feet tall in alien form, skin the color of candy apple red with black hair and amber eyes. In human form, she stood at 6 feet 4 inches, black hair, blue eyes, and deceptively calm. Oris and Jen moved with the grace of 2 predators. The 5th remained outside of the cabin. They were unpacking when the secure comms cracked to life. Felicia's voice strained. Contact. Unknown hostile, multiple. I am 5 minutes out. On foot. Car has a flat. Low energy. Nat was on her feet instantly. Jen cocked her head, already listening to something no human could hear. Scanner shows fast movement. 6 bipedal signatures. Big. Wolf-like. What in the world? Oris muttered. Jen grinned, despite herself. You know, if people from work could see us right now. Oris snorted. I can think of several men whose wildest fantasies just came true. Hot alien women and 2 war goddess. Laughter, brief, sharp, nervous. Let's move, Natalie said. Felicia burst from the tree line moments later, breath ragged, a pack of massive wolf things pounding after her, too tall, too fast, wrong in their movement. The driveway lights snapped on, white glare flooded gravel and fence line. Felicia vaulted the iron barrier, boots clearing the spikes, coat tearing wind as she rounded the corner, and nearly ran into a wall, 8 feet of lean muscle and stillness, wide brim hat, long duster, boots planted like bedrock, twin revolvers resting low at each hip. For one sharp heartbeat, total shock. Then she saw the hair, blonde against gray-toned skin, saw the red eyes beneath the brim. April, Natalie's younger cousin. In human disguise, she stood 6 feet 6 inches, tan-skinned, blue-eyed, intimidating but polished. This was not that version. This was the one you called when things went bad. April smiled. Surprise, she said, voice low and baritone smooth. She flicked 2 pistols from inside her coat mid-motion. Left. Felicia caught couple weapons without breaking stride and hit the dirt. Thunder erupted. April's revolvers roared from her side holsters, each shot deliberate. Neck, skull. The lead creature folded mid-charge and slammed into the gravel. Now it was 5 versus 5. Before Felicia could get in the fight, April attacked another one of the creatures and was pounding it into the ground with pure brute strength. The forest erupted in violence. Nat's warhammer connected with the largest of the creatures with catastrophic force. The impact launched it airborne, snapping through branches as it sailed past the cabin. And then it came down, straight into the lake. The crash echoed across the water. Nat smiled. "Dog things is a pancake." The rest did not last long. 2 hours later, they were clean, fed, and gathered inside the cabin. The warmth of the meal should have brought comfort, but a heavy silence suddenly fell over Felicia. Nat had noticed first. She looked up slowly, her expression haunted. "I received an encrypted message from my father. He managed to get through, and it's not good." "It's been almost 10 years since we lost contact with home," April said in her low baritone voice. Nat stiffened. "How? What is going on?" "Close to 100 years in void time," Oris added grimly. Felicia didn't soften the blow. Full-scale war in the void. 3 factions and their allies are fighting the Empire. There is also a civil war, and it has been going on for close to 80 years. She paused, the next words catching in her throat. "And the Emperor is dead." "How?" the other 4 asked in stunned unison. "My father said he was assassinated by one of his own creations." April shook her head in disbelief. "He survived so many attempts over a millennium that he was considered untouchable. I remember hearing he had killed a few assassins with his own bare hands." "True," Felicia replied, "but the Emperor grew paranoid of his elite ghost assassins. He feared he was losing control, so he had all 12 eliminated to be sure. But one survived. Somehow it killed him." Natalie's voice was low and dangerous. "I have seen bits of confidential info on those monsters." "That's an understatement," Jen added. "Even with the superior technology the Empire had, the ghosts were the real danger. They didn't just kill enemies of the Empire, they made them vanish. No struggle, no trace. They were the reason people in the void learned to jump at their own shadows, never knowing if the darkness was empty or waiting for them." As the others began to talk at once, Natalie stayed focused on Felicia. She saw a look of pure, uncharacteristic terror in her eyes. "Quiet," Natalie commanded. They all stopped. In a soft, trembling voice, Felicia spoke again. "My father said it might be on Earth." "Who is it taking orders from?" Natalie demanded. "Rumor has it the Oracle of Light and Truth," Felicia replied. April groaned, leaning back in her chair. "Great. Those busybody telepaths are a pain in the neck. If the Oracle is involved, this isn't just a coup. It's bloody a crusade." Oris and Jen sat with lips quivering. Oris whispered, "The poor people of Earth. They don't need a monster like that running loose. They won't even see it coming." The realization hit them all. An elite ghost assassin was on Earth, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. Jen looked at Nat and April. "Do you think the director know what's going on?" "Let's hope not," they both said. Their fun weekend had turned into a desperate plan to stay one step ahead of the Cabal, the director, and a phantom that could be anywhere. Felicia's next words sent a final, icy shudder down their spines. "The other rumor is that it's making up its own orders now." Jen asked, "Why come to Earth?" Oris asked in trembling voice, "What if somehow it remembered that it was once a human being? Oh hell. Then it's back for full-blown revenge mission," April said in her baritone voice. Thanks for watching Chapter 3. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Before you leave, have a couple of questions for you. Which of 3 mini-stories did you like or want to know more about in depth, about in a later chapter? We have the General and Athena, or Director and First Assassin, and the Battle Sisters. Comment down in the comments section. And thanks again for watching.